I'm here today with Trayvon Johnson, who unfortunately on April 14th was shot by a DEA agent here in Cleveland. You know, what I have before you here is obviously a unicorn. Most of the time when you see these police shooting cases, an individual doesn't survive. But by the grace of God, Trayvon Johnson is here with us today. I also have Miss Johnson, Deanna Johnson, Trayvon's mother, as well as LaDon Johnson, his brother. The issue is that a DEA agent decided on that day to escalate instead of de-escalate a situation where Mr. Johnson was in front of his house as a white car with dark windows pulled up, fully tinted windows. The front window was tinted, and Mr. Johnson got out of a car and went to see who was in that car. As he was doing that, his brother, LaDon Johnson, is standing outside on the porch, also looking at that car as well. Mom, Deanna Johnson, is looking out the window along with her mother, looking out the window wondering why this car has been sitting there for quite some time. They're all wondering what's going on. As LaDon is talking to his brother, Trayvon exits the car and begins to look at the car to wonder, why is this person sitting outside? A very suspicious behavior. And as that happens, the DEA agent decides to engage Mr. Johnson, shoots Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson attempts to run to his house, and as he's running to his house, his brother LaDon helps him into the house. I want to say this again. This is a situation where we have shoot first, ask questions later scenarios with officers that are unacceptable. On an even, we find that George Floyd was murdered. We saw the resolution in that case. We have a long way to go. We've got DEA agents here, unfortunately, in Cleveland, using force. And as you very well know, on the day in question when he was interviewed, he said there was gun exchange. There was two individuals that approached the car to attempt to carjack him. And as we very well know, moments later, a video was released that obviously showed something different. And thank God for those type of videos, because without those videos, we wouldn't have the story we have today. It would only be the DEA's agent's story. And as you can see from that video, Mr. Johnson didn't brandish a gun. He did not pose a threat. Ironically, there wasn't a second individual that approached that car. And there obviously was no gun exchange in that incident. Trayvon is going to speak to you for a second about, the fact that he is, happy just to be alive. I mean, the fact that as he fled from this officer shot at him several times as he was still running to his house, a place that most of us would consider a safe place to be. Trayvon, take your mask off, please. All right.
I'm just here to say I'm happy to be alive and happy to see my family. I ain't even think man, it's a miracle for me to be here. My family tell me this every time they see me. I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I was on my way home.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson has 40 stitches and 8 staples. He was shot in his stomach, and like I said, most of the time those shots are fatal. And like I said, we are blessed, his family is blessed for him to even be alive to survive this ordeal. Ms. Johnson, please take your mask off.
I'm glad my son is here today. He just was coming home, and he shot him. He just got out the car and he shot him for no reason at all. For no reason at all. I'm glad my son is here, and I don't know what's wrong with that man.
That's okay. Miss Johnson and her family has lived in that house for 32 years in that neighborhood. And as you can see, that she's very distraught. She almost lost her son on that day. He was severely injured. But more importantly, you should be safe in your own neighborhood. You should, as they did, they were concerned about what was happening in front of their house. And to have that officer engage Mr. Johnson with deadly force, never once announcing who he was, never once giving any commands, is unacceptable.